Coming up in the next segment, I'm going to do a detailed breakdown of the globalist current geopolitical strategy to overthrow the Middle East and install new puppet dictators who then completely ban free speech and protesting like has been done in Egypt, that hailed by our media is wonderful. Again, the globalists want that here as well. They install tyrannies everywhere. But when we come back from break, remember, we've had all these White House advisors, all these Democratic Party advisors saying we need terror attacks to get our agenda through so the public loves us again and sees us as their saviors. And they want to blame it on domestic groups, you name it. Just like the government got caught basically sending out the anthrax letters, and it was super U.S. government weaponized, and the FBI lied about it for years. Now, Chicago CBS reports threats claim nuclear bombs hidden all over U.S. The threats came in the mail, and to date, there have been 25 letters that warn of nuclear bombs destroying America. How about letters claiming Godzilla is going to attack New York City next Tuesday? Or that flying saucers are going to attack Albuquerque tomorrow? I mean, it's like Anwar al-Awlaki, who admittedly works for the Pentagon. A letter shows up on the internet that, you know, he's loving what's happening in Libya, and it's just taken as if it's completely real. They've had, a college student out in San Francisco 5-6 years ago did a fake beheading in his garage, and for a week they ran it as if it was real. Because the media is primed to pick up any disinfo, usually produced by the government. You know, Al-Qaeda videos that have been uploaded by the Intel Center, Wired Magazine has reported, have the Al-Qaeda logo and the Intel Center logo in the same video layer. It was uploaded together. You understand that? And so I'm going to be breaking this down because they really want to get the fear going. If they don't stage a terror attack, they at least want to hype one. That Al-Qaeda's got 160 nukes. Why a letter said so. And I'm looking at the handwriting, and we'll put the article on screen. I mean, if you blow that up, it looks just like the same handwriting that was sent out with the anthrax letters. And so this is just all part of the terrorists are going to get you, love the government, love the bankers robbing you, drink your fluoride, take your Prozac, breathe your uranium, it's good for you. 2 + 2 equals whatever we say it equals. It certainly doesn't equal 4, though. And it equals everything else but 4. And so you better give up all your rights because Al-Qaeda is going to hit you any minute. And we've got to have these wars because Al-Qaeda is evil and bad and dangerous and horrible, but they are also heroes fighting against the evil Gaddafi. You're like, but that doesn't make sense. Why? In fact, I know you guys have printed it 100 times, but I just want to hold it in my hand and read it to people. Will you print me the Fox News, Anwar al-Awlaki hanging out secretly at the Pentagon? This is confirmed. Where's the congressional investigation? Where's the fact people are going, well, you used Al-Qaeda against the Serbs. You used it against the Russians. You use it, the threat of it, to take our liberties here at home. Anwar al-Awlaki running all these attacks, hanging out in the U.S. I'm going to cover this when we come back, and I specifically only want to hear from listeners on this issue of how it's the biggest hoax I know of, militarily, strategically, via security, that Al-Qaeda is always funded, created by the people that run the U.S., not the U.S., but the bankers that have hijacked us, always being protected by them, always being run by them. I'm going to go through some examples of that when we come back. But separately, they're wonderful freedom fighters, and this big CIA commander who's Middle Eastern, trained for decades in Virginia, admits in the news, yes, we're commanding Al-Qaeda. And Anwar al-Awlaki's popped up, yes, it's a great jihad against secular Arab leaders, like Muammar Gaddafi. I mean, this is crazy. They've always used radical Muslims, they call Al-Qaeda, to overthrow what the globalists see as stable governments. Doesn't mean Gaddafi's good, doesn't mean any of these guys are good. The point is, they're not globalist. They're not playing patty cake properly. Now, Gaddafi 6 years ago did deals with Europe and the U.S. to play patty cake. That was only so the globalists could insert their spies in there. And now they're doing it. All right, we're going to come back, break down the fact that they're hyping stage terror. This time, hundreds of nukes going off in the U.S. That's your government with just fake letters, waving them around to fearmonger the sheeple into loving the New World Order. We'll be right back.
Everything we said came true. Everything we've done has been right.
Politico is reporting that Obama's approval rating has hit a new all-time record low. No president, even Nixon, had one this low into this term, this far along into the term. That shows you right there, people are not for this new war that was started by globalist special forces headed up with al-Qaeda brigades that form the core of the group starting the war against Gaddafi. Remember 5 weeks ago, Gaddafi said, this is al-Qaeda working for the U.S., attacking me. Now it's all over the news. NATO admits, yeah, they're al-Qaeda, but they're good al-Qaeda. Yeah, they're out of Saudi Arabia. Yeah, they're the same folks that were running around killing U.S. troops, but so what? If you're not for it, you're anti-America. They actually say, this is good. This is humanitarian. So I wanted to just remind you of some history. 1979, they create the Mujahideen to then attack Russian outposts to elicit a full-bore invasion. Brzezinski has now admitted all this. We already knew it, but now he's written 2 books on it. The head of national security advisor at the time. We're not saying the Russians were good. The point is, this is what happened. Neither's al-Qaeda. Neither's the folks like Brzezinski. They're all corrupt. They come in, they attack, then they use al-Qaeda with the KLA against the Serbs in the equivalent of the U.S. Southwest, and the UN comes in and bombs the north of Serbia, bombs the central area of the south, takes over the south, ethnic cleansing of the Serbs, absolute murder, all confirmed, loving, liberal, good. Just like the al-Qaeda forces are killing anybody who they think may have ever supported Gaddafi, lining them up and shooting them, it's confirmed, it's freedom. Financial Times and AP reported 2 days ago, they have banned all protests in an official decree, period. You can't form new political parties. Women are raped if they protest. You're shot. And it's like, our media is like, yes, freedom, democracy. That Mubarak's gone. Kill everybody. So that's going on. It's just so over the top. U.S.-backed forces, European-backed forces were in there a week before the riots began months ago in Egypt to overthrow their old puppet, to get rid of the old dog, put in some new dogs. Both the major candidates now running in the elections coming up that they went ahead and suspended, but when the elections come back, are Western run publicly. Again, total tyranny. Mubarak was not evil enough. Just like Saddam was not evil enough, formerly trained in 1958 when he was an Iraqi army officer for 3 years in Egypt by the CIA. That's all declassified in public, got rid of him after they told him to launch wars against Iran, used al-Qaeda against the Serbs, used them against the Russians. Just Google airlift of evil. And the headline will be Times of London. It was also called that in Newsweek. And they said, because a Special Forces colonel went public at the time in the San Francisco Chronicle. And he got in a lot of trouble. I remember the article. It first came out there about a month before. And then it finally came out in other publications. They said, look, we captured thousands. What was it? 8,000 Taliban al-Qaeda cream. The leaders, the Taliban general, bin Laden's number 2. We were ordered, you don't just load them on C-130s and take them to Pakistan. Here are chests of gold. Chest of gold. Gold. There it is. MSNBC, the airlift of evil. Why did we let Pakistan pull volunteers out of Kunduz? Then you actually read the articles. It wasn't Pakistan. It was U.S. C-130s. But see, I'm evil. I'm not for al-Qaeda. And, it just continues here. Exclusive. Al-Qaeda leader dined at the Pentagon just months after 9/11. I keep going back to this. Fox News, other publications, Pentagon didn't deny it. It was just, yes, Awlaki hangs out secretly at the Pentagon while he's most wanted. Let's not discuss it. And then he runs the attacks at Fort Hood and everywhere else. Just every one of the major attacks with moron patsies they hire, who are real mentally ill terrorists. And they turn these lunatics loose, and then Congress says, let us see the 2 years of emails and meetings and Pentagon surveillance of Awlaki controlling Major Hassan and the underwear bomber and others. And they say, sorry, national security, not going to give it to you. Because according to Tarpley and his research, and the evidence is there, it's not even Awlaki. It's the name Awlaki. When they're out there, on message boards and meeting with them in person, I'm here from Awlaki. You've done well for Allah. Prepare the attack. And it may take them years to get them to do it, just like 1993 World Trade Center bombing. On record, New York Times, CBS News, because Ahmad Salam, the Egyptian intelligence officer hired by the CIA and FBI, he was told to build a dummy bomb. Then they said, we're going to build a real bomb. Then they said, okay, now we are going to give you real detonators and a real bomb. And he said, okay, let's bust them. They're about to bomb it tomorrow. And they said, no, it goes forward. He knew they were setting him up. So he recorded them and then did a press conference and released it after the bombing. And they had to admit, okay, yes, we ran the attack. And they found 2 men who were nearly mentally retarded because they were on welfare. They had city IQ studies because you have to go do that to get your welfare. They got extra welfare as being morons, mildly retarded. I think the smartest one had an 82 IQ. I mean, an 82 IQ, folks. I mean, 70 is super retarded. And they bombed the building. But they didn't park it up against the right column, so the feds had to get it right a few years later.
Mind control, commit the revolution, take its toll. If you could, I flick a switch and open your third eye. You'd see that we should never be afraid to die.
Awesome. Love Muse. Great patriots. Oh, yeah, they're on board in the fight against the New World Order. Visit their site, the only news sites they link to, Infowars.com, PrisonPlanet.com. They're on board in the fight. Bellamy wears Terror Storm T-shirts in concert. I need to get him back on. Got him on once. Yeah, didn't get the right number. Never been able to get him back on. But it shows how many people are awake to what's going on. Now, briefly finishing up, then we're going right to Gerald Celente, joining us via video Skype for PrisonPlanet.tv viewers, transmitting out on audio for all the great radio affiliates out there. When we're done with Celente and all this key info he has, the top trends forecaster, we're going to shift gears back to your calls in the next hour and come out in about 25, 27 minutes, and we're going to get back into publicly Al-Qaeda used against the Serbs, globalist pact, used against the Russians. Now, it turns out, British Special Forces and others 5 weeks ago, using them as the core to get the revolution going. Now, others have joined in, and now it's admitted all over the news. They are a, like, Leatherman tool for the New World Order, that one-size-fits-all. And they use Al-Qaeda to menace the U.S. when they want to have more draconian crackdowns on our liberties and get hundreds of billions in no-bid police state body scanner and face scanner and license plate scanner federalization funds to the private corporations. But here's CBS News, random letters, and they're taking it like it's serious, 160 nuclear bombs buried by Al-Qaeda. Might as well be the Keebler elves. And we better give all our rights up because 160 nukes are going to get us. And you got all the White House and Democratic memos saying we need a new Oklahoma City, we need a new 9/11 to really take people's rights and make folks love it. What are we going to do? How are we going to prop up Obama? Record approval rating plunging. They think you're so dumb. They're publicly talking about how great a staged event would be. Even Beck's covered this.